Hey guys, it's Jake from Wani, and I'm here with Steve Tucker from Morbid Angel. Steve, how are you going, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good. So, it's been a little bit over 3 months now since Kingdoms Disdained was released. A ton of fans will have had the chance to get their hands on the album, and the reviews have also come in with many outlets praising the return of Morbid Angel's death metal roots. How have you guys as a band felt the reception for the album has been?
It seems to me like, most people seem to be extremely happy. I think we live in a world of haters these days where, everyone gets on the internet and says what they want to draw attention to themselves. But I think, man, it seems like most people, man, are pretty damn happy with the album.
Yeah, and that definitely seems to be the way that a lot of the reviews on that have been going as well. So, the album was a very big, 180-degree turn from the direction that the band was going down on Illud Divinum Insanus. Does the reception for that album, and I know you weren't part of the recording or creation of that album, but does the reception for an album like that make Morbid Angel as a band scared to try and experiment with new things?
No, man. I think Morbid's always been a band that experiment. I think that's been sort of really one of the things that sets Morbid apart from the very beginning, is that Morbid's always been a band that when the new album comes out each and every time, it always is a shock to people because it's always different. I think last album, that was a much more drastic difference than, normal. But, normally it's still always death metal. It's just some new sort of vibe to it or whatever. But I think that, I don't think that, really honestly, man, the band doesn't really, I haven't read really any reviews or anything like that. You know what I mean? I never do. So it's like, really the influence from what other people's opinions are, man, has never really been a big deal in Morbid. That's why I think, you end up with such diverse albums. I think it's really all about whatever the vibe is at the time and the combination of people involved. Like on Domination, the combination of, having David and Eric involved with Trey and Pete was, the outcome was one thing, and then Formulas was a completely different album. It's a completely different monster because the chemistry involved is completely different, man. And I think it's the same with Illud and Kingdoms Disdained. I think that the chemistry of the people involved is just different, therefore the outcome is different.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I do want to talk about Kingdom Disdained directly, and I think that the first thing that people get to experience with this album is that raw album cover that's showing like the world sort of collapsing in on itself. When you guys were thinking about ideas for the album artwork, was that sort of designed to be a commentary piece on what's going on in the world at the moment?
Man, it really wasn't, the intention really wasn't there. Actually, the concept of, the earth coming, sort of to life, and sort of destroying itself is not exactly even a new concept, that we've talked about in Morbid Angel, but it's definitely the first time that someone ever actually put it into a visual, And I really think that the timeliness of how the world has been, I definitely think that there's a relation there, but it definitely was not something that was intentional, man. The being that's on the album cover represents a god. He doesn't represent, Jesus or, Muhammad or, it's a god of the earth itself,
Yeah, and I guess that sort of leads into and is very well reflected through the lyrics that are on the album as well.
Yeah, agreed. It's definitely the concept and the idea of all the things that are happening cause this sort of inner turmoil in the planet and the people on the planet. That's the whole sort of concept of the album,
Yeah. Now,
sorry, I had a coffee go down wrong. Sorry about that.
No, you're all right. So, given that you've worked with Trey in the past on earlier Morbid Angel releases, but there was a few new members. Obviously, there's a large roster change at the end of Illud. What was it like coming back into the fold, working with Trey again, and also bringing these new guys on board? How did that process go?
And, the only odd thing about it was once we started rehearsing and like Pete wasn't there, that for me was the odd part. Other than that, everything seemed really natural. We did things exactly how we had done things previously. We exchanged, tracks, through, previously it would have been through the mail and handing each other discs, now through the internet. He'd email me a new track, a new version of a track, and we would work on songs that way. So, it really wasn't anything strange until we actually got in the room and started playing songs. And then at that point, we're playing with Scotty Fuller, and it was a little bit odd. It was definitely odd, but, the thing about Morbid is Trey's pretty much always orchestrated the drums, so, immediately the drums start to have a Morbid Angel feel to them anyway. I think it was with Tim, it was there still a bit, and, it's because of the way Trey writes. So, it quickly adapted. I quickly adapted, and it pretty quickly became normal to me. It really wasn't a stretch at all, but that was really only a strange time was, when we first got in the room playing with Scotty Fuller, the drummer. That was a odd moment,
Yeah. Now I know that you've done the lyrics for this album, and I've seen it mentioned that you wanted the album's lyrics written from the perspective of, I guess, an impartial third party, about like social events that are occurring in the world from time to time, and you make some particular references to religious ideologies and symbolism, and I think that comes through in songs like Architect and Iconoclast, and they do a perfect job of demonstrating this. Do you feel it's a difficult thing writing lyrics as an observer, say, rather than an active party in those sorts of things?
I think that when you're looking at it as an observer, you have to look at it as someone who's a neutral party. Looking at anything from a neutral perspective is always hard. And I think that it kind of relates to the whole topic in general, because, one of the big, unnerving things about the world today is the fact that, people just, they're pretty shallow and only concerned with themselves and how things directly relate to themselves. So looking at something from a neutral perspective is very, very hard, especially now. It seems as though we've been taught over the past few decades to not look at things from any other perspective except for our own. You know what I mean? That is the only way it seems. Everybody wants their own personal rights. Everybody wants, if I have a limp, I don't want anybody to ever talk about, call someone a gimp, or if you know what I mean, or if I prefer this sexually, then everyone should be able to do whatever they want. And I'm not for or opposed to any of these things. I'm just saying that it all really comes down to very personal issues, man. And some people can never relate to those personal issues because they're personal issues. They're not other people's issues, you know what I mean? But the idea of being neutral is hard for both parties, man. It's completely hard for both sides if you're anti-something because your religion taught you to be, and that's all you ever know, because honestly, religion is an involuntary thing. It's not something that most people sign up for. It's something that most people are born into. At a very young age, it's fed to them, and if you ask most little kids, they're only going to tell you what their mom and dad told them about God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's their understanding at first, and then it grows to become a belief system. And when you question someone's belief system, man, it's really putting them at odds with their own morality, and it's hard for anyone to see anything neutral. So writing that way can be extremely difficult because I am human. But to be honest with you, usually I just kind of step back and I just look at it and just for what it absolutely just is. For what it simply cut and dry at the most simple form, what the topic truly is. You know what I mean? And then that's when I think you can actually find neutrality, man. You can actually see things, if you just look at them, just truth, just full truth, what are the facts and nothing else. That's the only time you can ever be neutral. Yeah,
cool. You guys have... I tried to do a little bit of digging to see if there were any upcoming shows for you guys, but you've only got the one appearance announced so far this year that I could see, which was the appearance at New England Metal and Hardcore Festival in late April. Can we expect some further tour announcements from Morbid Angel in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll be now announcing a tour actually around that show in the next week or so. So, like, yeah, we're getting ready to start going out and doing quite a few shows. I mean, hopefully we're going to get all over the world. Hopefully we'll be able to go everywhere. I mean, you know, it's always one of those things where, you know, sometimes it's a financial thing to get to certain parts of the world or whatever, but, you know, sometimes you can make it work, and I'm really hoping that this time around we actually make it over to Australia. I'd actually like to go to New Zealand as well, but I'd really love to make it to Australia.
Yeah, cool. And I noticed that there was some difficulty last year with the band heading to Europe on a couple of occasions with some passport issues, which caused the band to cancel not only once but twice. Have those issues been rectified, and will you be heading to Europe in those upcoming tours?
Yeah, man, we've got everything sorted out now. It just took bureaucracy, dude. It took a while to sort out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Steve, thanks so much for your time. We look forward to seeing what comes next for Morbid Angel, and really appreciate you having the chance to have a chat with us.
Right on, man. Have a great day. Appreciate it.
Thanks.